My Lord. He's my Savior. All by himself. And he doesn't need, the songwriter wasn't grammatically correct on that. He said, he don't need nobody else. I love that song. I love hearing Ricky Powell. I don't know if anybody's ever heard Ricky Powell sing that song around town. I bug him to death. Everywhere I go, I say, Ricky, sing the song for me. But if you ever heard him get going on, everybody ought to know. Oh, it's one of Birmingham's treats to hear him sing that song. He's just dynamic with that song. And it is true. Everybody ought to know who Jesus is. Guess what they found out who Jesus is? They found out because we tell them. It's our job to tell them who Jesus is. He's my Savior all by himself. Y'all cold this morning? Huh? Y'all cold? Seem like y'all just a little distracted. Isn't that how life is? You get up, moving with a purpose, going to your designated place, got everything lined out that you're going to do, and then something happens, and it kind of distracts you. Oh, but you can do all right if you can stay focused. If I can just stay focused. It's certainly a metaphor for life for these young folk, that things happen in life, but you got to keep your eye on the prize. And our goal today is to come and worship the Lord. That's our goal. That's what I came here to do. Especially in preaching, I've come primarily and first to worship the Lord. I hope you come to worship the Lord with me. I hope you have. Somebody ought to say amen. I don't want this spirit in here right now. I don't want this spirit of hurry up in here. There's a spirit of hurry up in here right now. I don't want that. Somebody just wants me to get this over with. Just hurry up so I can move on down the road and get to my next function, as if what you have to do after you leave here is more important than this right here. I don't want that in here. I don't want 4 Sundays to be throwaway Sundays. Just because we come early and we do things a little bit different doesn't mean it has to be shortened, abbreviated worship. I don't want that. I don't want, just because the young folk lead us in prayer, it has less value than when other folk are leading us in prayer, because maybe if we measure on purity of heart, if we take motives out of it sometimes, then maybe we have a purer worship when we have young folk leading us. Maybe there's more authenticity in it. Maybe when you come and you just sing with your eyes closed, or you stand up here and you don't even know the words to the song, but you're going to stand up here in the mix anyway. I've been preaching a sermon series this month on stewardship, and today will probably be the last day of this sermon series. For it won't go next Sunday. But I've been trying to hit some things that are not traditionally looked at as our responsibility for better stewardship. How to get our lives better, how to jumpstart our lives to being a better person, how to be a better friend, And today I want to talk about how to do better with money. How to do better with money. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's not going to be some of the traditional things you used to hear. How to do better with money. The title of the sermon series has been Do Better, Be Better. So if you want to do better in life, then you have to be better about what you're doing. And I believe that it's not until you get serious about some things, put more effort, put more excellence into it, that you're going to get a better product. So let's see if we can talk about that in terms of money today. I'm reaching, all right, and I'm searching because something's telling me that so the Bible talks about money. The Bible talks about money in about as much as it talks about any other topic. If you just look at the total number of scriptures related to money, you'll see that it's important, not just in the Old Testament, but especially in the New Testament. Jesus Christ knew that money was like smoke. He knew that. He knew it was a distraction from what's really important. Yeah. He knew that, and so he talked about how to get the smoke out of our eyes. He taught about it. I like this, Ricky. He didn't just tell about it. He taught about it. He taught his disciples the order of importance to put things in. And so we've been talking about this series from the perspective of the smartest man who ever lived. And the smartest man who ever lived was Solomon. He was the wisest man. I know y'all know some smart folks in class. They always make A's. Some of y'all probably do that on your exams. Teacher can throw a pop quiz and you make A's. You got it like that. That's a blessing to have that about you. There's some people who never made A's, all right? It was always a surprise to some folk. Yeah, always, huh? Some people, it never seemed to be a surprise. In fact, it's like Hermione on Harry Potter. She was always ready for her exams, always. I'm the only one that watched Harry Potter in here. Come on, bro. Yeah. But some of us always flunk with money. Wow. Always flunk with it. It entered into our lives at the wrong level of importance, and we have never dethroned it as God in our lives. We think money can do everything for us. We think if you got enough money in life, in fact, not only do we think it, we forecast that and teach that in our homes, that with enough money, you can be anything you want to be or do anything you want to do. All right, just by a show of hands, follow me. How many of y'all know just from watching TV, people who got a lot of money who are miserable? Yeah, miserable. She's miserable. So clearly, just from that now, money doesn't make you happy, does it? Yeah, money doesn't make you happy. By another show of hands, how many of you know some people who from your standpoint don't seem to have a lot of money or wealth, but they always seem to be happy? Yeah. How is that? If money is the key and the answer to everything, then how is it that money doesn't make you happy and you can have money and be full of happiness? That's an amazing thing. And so I want to give you some tips today on how you can do better with money. All right? And the way I'm going to do it is by showing you how some people have made mistakes with money. All right? You can learn from other folks' mistakes. Anybody tell you can't learn from other folks' mistakes, I'm not telling you the truth. Yeah, some things, Denise, I don't have to go through in life. Yeah, I can watch somebody else go through it and say, oh, yeah, I got it. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, lesson learned. Lesson learned. Lesson learned. The first, you know what the first big mistake is, folks? The first big mistake people make with money is, and this is a big one, they confuse their self-worth with their financial worth or their net worth. They confuse their self-worth with their net worth. All right? What is net worth? Net worth, because some people don't understand that terminology. Net worth is the money you got after all your bills been paid. All right? Some folk like to include their bill money because they think it make them look good, but Wells Fargo money ain't my money. All right? The money I got after I take care of my liabilities and my responsibilities would equal my net worth. People know that because you take home, your net worth is your take-home pay. All right? That's the take-home, because some of y'all, how many of y'all know it's a big difference between your gross and your take-home? Yeah, if you could dance in your gross, some of us would look, but then, y'all have cousins that show up, FICA, show up and take some money out your gross. Yeah. Your self-worth is more than your net worth. Look at what the scripture says. Rich people may think they are wise, but a poor person with discernment can see right through them. A poor person with wisdom. With wisdom. Discernment, some people say, I know people. I know people. I can read people. That's what the word discernment refers to. Poor person with discernment can see right through them. If God blesses you with wealth, that doesn't mean you're smarter than other people. All right, it doesn't mean that. And it also doesn't mean that if you don't have wealth, you're not as smart as other people. Okay, it doesn't mean that. Because there are a whole lot of people without money who are extremely wise. Jesus is an example. He owned very little when he was on earth. Never had a home, never owned anything the Bible speaks about except for what he carried. And yet, there was no one wiser than Jesus Christ. All right? Life, how many of y'all like to play Monopoly? The game of Monopoly. Anybody? You ever played that? Yeah, Monopoly? Yeah. You know what the commonality about Monopoly is? It doesn't matter how much you accumulate in the game. It doesn't matter how rich you get in the game. It doesn't matter how many properties you buy in the game. When the game is over, everything goes back in the box. Everything. And so you are once again equal with the person who went to jail and didn't get a get out of jail free card. You are once again equal with that person. Don't base your life and who you are on what you have. Now, I know this is very, very tough for our young folk, and that's not their fault. It's our fault. It's because we make them think that because we are able to buy certain things for them and bless them with certain outfits, certain media devices, certain places they can go to, we make them think that because they can get that stuff, somehow they are better than other kids. That's wrong. No, the word is not better. The word is blessed. The word is blessed. They have to know that it is a blessing to be able to have access to those things, and that it's not a birthright. Yeah. Having a lot of money will inflate your ego. Oh, it'll blow your ego slap up. But God didn't intend for us to use money as a measurement to how important we are. He never meant that. The fact that we've done that is a man-made thing. Proverbs 11:28 says, those who trust in riches will be ruined, but a good person will be healthy like a green leaf. Those who trust in riches will be ruined. That's trusting in money. Trusting in money. You put all your trust in money. See, our emphasis should be on being a good person, not a rich person. Not a rich person. Being a good person. If you trust in money, it's going to ruin you. It's going to ruin you. It is. If you trust in money. Money, under those circumstances, becomes your God. All right? And look at this. Who or what you put your trust in is who you worship. That's who you worship. And if you put your trust in money, then that's your God. Money is a tool to be used, not something that should be worshiped or worried about. Or worried about. Not something that should be worshiped or worried about. Your self-worth is more than your net worth. Second problem people have is investing in get-rich-quick schemes over planning and hard work. Over planning and hard work. The plans of hardworking people earn a profit, but those who act too quickly become poor. I know y'all think it's just a preacher thing when I stand up here all the time and speak against the lottery and gambling. I know you think it's that. It's not. It's a practical thing. Because I watch the news. I know you watch the news too. And I know you see when they say the Powerball is now at $400 million. And then 2 days later when they announce the Powerball winner, there is one. One. And what you say is, I can be that one. The problem is they never tell you when they bring the big check out and there's one big winner standing up there smiling that there are, how many? 79 million losers. They don't say that. They don't pull no picture out of the 79 million folk who lost. They just tell you the one that won. It's a game. And the game has never, hear me, the game is never stacked in your favor. It's always designed for them to win. People say, oh, when I go down to the casino, I can eat hey, you can just eat. I just go down there for the food. Yeah. Yeah, the reason why the food's so cheap is because they're getting the money the other way. And they make as much money, just like on cruise ships. The only thing that flows better than water on cruise ships is liquor. Oh yeah, they got liquor packages when you get on a cruise ship because they'll tell you, if we get X number of people on the ship, we know we're going to book X amount of money in liquor. They know it. That's how they make profit. They don't make profit on potatoes. Unless it's been fermented and put in a bottle and you can drink it. That's how they make money. Get rich quick schemes are only designed to get the folk who run the schemes rich. Not you. Not you. Now, you can get mad at me all you want, but if you use the lottery as your retirement planning vehicle, you're going to be broke. You're going to be broke if you do that. Okay? I'm just here to tell you, one of the biggest pipe dreams in the world is also that you cannot study and plan. You know, people now think they're suave and smooth and they can jump in the stock market. It works the same way. It works the same way. All right? There may be a little more subtlety to it, But the bottom line is, when the big deals go down, you ain't gonna know about it. You ever think about where there's so few people who get rich when all these big things hit? I tell you a story about one of my neighbors, and he probably won't mind me telling. And to look at him, you wouldn't know. He looked like Fred Sanford. Kept his yard like Fred Sanford. He was the richest man on the block. Richest man on the block. Used to play professional baseball. Used to play professional baseball. You know what I'm talking about. And they didn't pay baseball players a whole lot, not black baseball players a whole lot of money when he was playing. I mean, they made a nice salary compared to everybody else. But it just so happened he was playing for the Braves, the Atlanta Braves. And he said the owner's son came to him and said, why don't you take some of your check and every month just set aside a little bit, all right, and buy some of the company stock. Just invest in the company. Well, smart on the owner's son to get the players to invest. He knew these players had disposable money. They didn't care. It was just more money for him. So he said, okay, cut some money out. So every check, they cut a certain amount of money out of his check, and he invested. It just so happened that the owner's son was named Ted Turner. All right, and the company he was investing in was TBS. All right. TBS, but just so happened that that's who owned the Braves at the time. And so he invested in it, and TBS started growing, and then TBS stock split, which means that he got 2 for 1. He didn't do anything now. All he did was let him cut some money out of his check, and just sitting there, he's becoming a millionaire overnight because it's just the stock splitting. And then after it split the first time, Ms. Johnson, it split again. He didn't do anything. He got a blessing simply because somebody came and gave him some information on the company and he invested in it. Probably a whole lot of other folk who played on the teams who did the same thing. Can I tell you, that's the exception. That ain't the rule. That's not the rule. Most folk invest in companies, and those companies don't always do well. And if they do well, they do well slowly. Slowly, not always splitting. Very few people knew enough to get in on Coca-Cola when it was really, really new. All right, some folk knew enough to go and buy Coca-Cola and they got rich behind. Very few people who were smart enough to see that this thing called Microsoft might be something down the road and invest in it. Those are the kinds of things that grow astronomically. Those are the kind of things. But you got to be smart enough to look at the prospectus and read it and understand the terminology before you start putting your money in it. And guess what? Every little John coming out of college right now is going to tell you he knows what to do. And you can feel safe putting your money with him. Be careful who you give your future to. All right, because they will use your future like lottery money. And they will turn around and they say, oh, well, it didn't do like I thought it would. And that's your future going down the tube. You have to be serious. You can't invest in get rich quick schemes. There are story after story of little librarians who never married, got a small salary, who invested every month. Invested in, lived frugally, and when they died, they left $3-4 million to some school. Why? Not because they did anything astronomical, simply because they were wise. They didn't live beyond their means, and they didn't even live on the money. It just grew. That's how you have to, if you plan on it. Now let's get real about this before I move on to the next point. Life expectancies are changing. Life expectancies are changing. We're living longer than we ever lived. You need to have a plan for what happens when you no longer work. Young folk, you need to be investing in something now. No, you do. You need to be investing in something right now. Don't be waiting talking about when I get 40. 40 ain't old, first of all. All right? If you're working now, you're 20-something, you need to be setting some aside every month. Every month that gives you some kind of return, and it needs to be in some kind of vehicle that you can't touch if you see some shoes you like. All right? It needs to penalize you for taking it out. You need to be able to do that. Some of us have gotten the benefit. Let's just be honest now. Some of our parents, our grandparents, my grandmama didn't invest in the Social Security system. She didn't. The work she did, if she did, it was a very small amount. The dividend she is reaping off Social Security is far in excess of what she put in. All right, and the truth of the matter is there's some generations right now that are getting that big benefit too, but guess what? It's too many of us coming into the system. And so they're trying to cut the dividends down. Now by the time I draw Social Security, they might require me to be 70 years old to draw it. There's some folk in here who started when they were what, 61? 62 now. Now it's going up to 67 already, which is why I'm telling you it's probably going to be 70 because life expectancies are growing. That means you got to work 6 or 7 or 8 years longer. And they ain't talking about the fact that I'm a man and women traditionally live longer than men. That's just life. Don't depend on Social Security to be the one that's going to take care of you, because it's not going to be the only thing you're going to have. And that's if you're investing in the system. Can I go there, young folk who always want to work jobs where folk pay you cash and under the table? Think you getting over because somebody's sliding you some cash money and you getting it all. Guess what? You're putting no money into the Social Security system. And so if you get hurt on the job, you can't draw disability because you don't have anything. The most you can get, and this is what you hear folks saying all the time, they'll tell you they're getting disability. What they really getting is SSI. SSI is the disregard check. That means you didn't invest enough in the system, and the most you're going to get is $681 a month. I think that's what it is now. That is not a disability check. All right? Now, don't. And there's some people who will proudly tell you that's what they get. How you live on $681 a month, I don't know. With a wife and children, and I don't know. That should not be your plan. Maybe circumstances come along and you have to live with that. But I see too many young folk who tell me every day I'm applying for disability. I'm applying for disability. That's why you see so many lawyers on TV saying, come to us. We can help you get your disability. Yeah, you know why they want to help you? Because they get automatic fees out the disability when you get you. That's why they want to do it. They ain't got to depend on you to pay them. They're going to get it out of whatever you get. That's why they're doing disability law. That's where the money comes from. You do personal injury, you got to get that out of the case you file. I'm letting y'all in on. Now, this is the deal. And the truth of the matter is, guess how many of us, we all get caught up in it. There is no get-rich-quick scheme. There isn't one. You got to work and work hard. Studies have shown that the average lottery winner or sweepstakes winner is flat broke within 1 to 3 years after they win. 1 to 3 years. You know why? Because they don't know what to do with the money. They don't. They buy every little thing you can find. Now, I know it's hard sitting here when you feel like you've been working all your life and Poe is your best friend. I know. That's hard. I know that's hard. Yeah. Yeah, Poe always with you. So it's hard to sit up and listen to me. And I'm telling you, don't invest in your opportunity to get better. And I'm telling you, sometimes chasing after trying to get something more, you mess yourself up worse than you are right now. And one of the reasons they lose this money is because it doesn't have value to them. All right, because they got it without any input, it doesn't have value to them, and so they'll throw it away. It's frivolous. A lot of these athletes get money. It has no value to them. All right. There was one athlete I know, he was making, look, his check was like $80-some thousand a week based on his contract. Now, what you can't legitimately do anything with $80-some thousand a week. Nothing. Nothing. All right? Because after a while, you already got your house. You're driving what you drive. You're going to only eat certain things. And so you're trying to be creative in how you spend all this money. His way of creating it, can I be real with you? His way of creating it, of spending that money was that he was riding around with $15,000 in his trunk all the time. And he was going to the strip clubs with his boys. He's in prison now. He's in prison now because since he had no money management skills, the streets pulled him in and said, man, we can flip that for you. We can flip that money for you. And so he started investing in drug deals because he thought he was going to grow his money, and he's in prison now. That's what happens when a fool and his money are soon parted. It doesn't matter if you're the fastest person at your university. It doesn't matter if you're the Heisman Trophy winner. Nobody cares. A fool and his money are soon parted. There's the baddest NBA point guard some folks say ever existed. Allen Iverson is just as broke as he can be right now. You know why? Because he had no money management skills. The only saving grace he got is a friend. One friend who convinced him to sign some documents where he put like $25 million away somewhere, and he couldn't get it till he was 50-something years old. But between now and then, he broke. He broke. And he ought to love that friend. He ought to love that friend who wasn't trying to take nothing from him, trying to help him, who knew him enough. You better have you some friends around you who know you, ain't trying to just get something from you. All right, the next thing that you need to know is you need to stop wasteful spending. Stop wasteful spending. Stop wasteful. The wise have wealth and luxury, but fools spend whatever they get. You see something, you want to go get it. You get it. You get it. Can I share something with you? We are raising a generation of children who have a higher palate than we had. Their tastes are higher. They think nothing of buying a purse that costs $1,200 to put $4 in. I'm gonna work an extra job so I can get me a purse that costs $1,200. Why? And because everybody wearing this purse, and I can't even buy gas. But I'm sharp. I'm showing up at Kangaroo late. Putting $2 worth of gas in my car. Stop wasteful spending. Stop wasteful spending. Now, sooner or later, you got to spend money. You got to. You just got to figure out what to spend the money on. Can I tell you now, I love generic stuff. I do. I love generic stuff. It ain't got to have no name brand on it for me. I just get cheese. All right? It ain't got to be Kraft or Daft or just cheese. Cheese. It don't matter to me. Rice. Rice. Now, y'all the ones stuck on, I will go in. I'm just as happy with a package of duplex cookies. It ain't got to be Chips Ahoy. It ain't got to be none of that. But I guarantee you, somebody needs to take you. You need to go shopping just for yourself. You need to go shopping one week, and you need to buy what you buy with all your name brand. And then you need to make yourself go shop another week and buy no name brand. And see what the difference is in price, and more importantly, see what the difference is in taste. And I guarantee you will shock yourself at how much money you've been throwing away. Not only that, all of these stores that we shop in, they know we have more expensive palates. And I don't remember for real growing up eating shrimp. I don't. I was telling Karen this morning, it was a little later, but I was telling Karen this morning, I was eating a container of yogurt. I wasn't no yogurt when I was growing up. I don't remember that kind of stuff. Now, I'm not saying it's bad. Because it's not. What I'm saying to you is there's a different palate for us. You got up in the morning, you ate some rice and biscuits and a little some meat with some in, or some grits and something. That's what you ate for breakfast. And if you didn't eat that, you didn't eat. You didn't eat. You know I'm telling the truth because when we leave here in a minute, everybody, the first thing you're going to say is, where we're going to eat. That's what everybody's going to say, where we're going to eat. And I guarantee you for the collective amount of money that you spend today with the group you eat with, you can eat all week. For what you spend today on the meal, you can eat all week long on that money. But see, we don't consider that to be wasteful spending, but it is. That's wasteful spending. And some people ain't going to say nothing, but you know, your thing might not be food. My thing food. I tell you what my vice is food. All right? Some things don't get me. Some things will get you that won't draw me. I don't need that. But everybody's got something that they're a little bit frivolous on. So you got to stop wasteful spending. Wise people's houses are full of the best foods and olive oil, but fools waste everything they have. That's Solomon. That's Solomon. Fools waste everything they have. Guess what? Friday can come and go without you spending anything. You do not have to shop on the day after Christmas. You do not have to spend a dime just because they tell you on TV it's shopping day. You don't have to spend anything. You don't have to spend anything the following Monday. Not only do they have us locked in on the day after, now they're trying to work the Monday after. Because they realized not enough of y'all were coming into the stores. Now they're getting you online. So we went from Black Friday to Cyber Monday. Next thing they're going to have is Take 'em Tuesday. Wear 'em out Wednesday. Try it again Thursday. Fools Friday coming back around. I mean, they're going to get you. Stop falling into their hands. You don't have to do that. Stop wasteful spending. Next thing is, look, this is about ethics. The hookup is not right. I couldn't even figure out how to just the hookup is not right. The hookup is not right. I got this friend, and she work at JCPenney. Ooh, somebody laughing nervous up in here. Tee-heeing too hard. And I go up in there, and she rang up one, but I get two. That's stealing. That's stealing. That's stealing. Or I got this friend, and he can get gift cards. Yeah. Well, how you get all them gift cards? I don't know. I don't ask no questions. All I know is I can get gift cards, and he can give you the gift cards, and you can go and buy whatever you want. They good gift cards. Yeah, that's called stealing. That's called stealing. That's what it's called. The hookup is not right. You can buy a brand new computer just like the one they got at Best Buy that costs $900 at Best Buy. Now, it's overpriced at Best Buy. It is. I tell you that. It's overpriced there. But you know you can't get it for $150 from Bobo around the street. The same thing. Bobo got it, still got Best Buy stickers on it. And you think that's legitimate? It's called receiving stolen property. That's what it's called. And for you to say, I didn't know, is a lie. All right? Because ain't nobody going to discount nothing from $900 to $150. And he's not an authorized agent of Best Buy in his backyard. Now, y'all laughing, but this is how some people shop. I'll tell you something that's also wrong. You sign up for a holiday for your children. 1 place, 2 place, 3 place. You go to every place and get it, and then you take some of it and return it. That's wrong. That's wrong. And what are you teaching your children? Because you got to have them with you when they come, when you get it. They like, Mom, why I got 4 bicycles? They out telling their children, I had 4 bicycles, but then I ain't got but 1. What you teaching them? The hookup is wrong. It's wrong. If you ever want to be disgusted, go down there when they do the Kids and Jobs toy giveaway. If you want to see something turn your stomach on helping folk, legitimately trying to help folk, I have never seen such ingratitude. Just standing down there. I used to go down there every year and help pass the toys out. I'm like, man, I can't come down here. First of all, half them folk don't even need it. Half of them don't even need it. And then the ones get in there, you get in there, they roll out, hey, what you want? I want a bicycle. So they roll a bike out to you, and everybody like, all right, here's your bike. I want a blue one. I want a blue one. Y'all ain't got no blue one for him. He sure like the blue. This is mama now. Not be grateful. I see a blue one over there. Can he get that? This is what happens. Ethics. Ethics. Be morally right. Be righteous in what you're doing. Be righteous. Look, this is what the scripture says. It says the buyer haggles over the price, saying it's worthless, and then brags about getting a good bargain. Yeah. Better to have little with godliness than to be rich and dishonest. The godly are directed by honesty in all situations. It might be free, but I don't need it. It might be free, but I don't need it, so I'm going to leave it here because somebody else can get it who actually needs it. I don't have to take it just because it's free. Just because it's free. Yeah, and this is not just with kids. This is, they got a whole lot of stuff for seniors too. A whole lot of folks. You going in there, they giving away blood pressure machines and all that kind of thing. Well, you got one at the house. You don't have to take it just because it's free. You got a brand new blood pressure machine, glucose meter sitting up at the house. Can't nobody use it, and you don't need it. That ain't right. That's just not right. A good reputation and respect are worth more than silver and gold. Next thing you need to know, the big problem we got, workaholism is a disease. Workaholism is a disease. All right? The Bible tells us to work hard, but not to overwork. All right? If you're wearing yourself out trying to get rich. So here, Reverend Sparks, how do I know when I'm wearing myself out? I'm glad you asked me that. When I'm wearing myself out trying to get rich. I got the answer for you. When you don't have time for God, or time for your family, or you're ruining your health, then you need to slow down and be wise enough to know when to quit. All right? When to quit. Most of us are not working 2 jobs for life. We're working 2 jobs for lifestyle. That's a difference. For lifestyle. Be wise enough to know when to quit. You never see one another. Past your husband and wife, you pass like ships in the night. You spend no time with your children. You spend no time with the Lord, who you prayed to for the blessing of the job. And then you told him, I'll text you. I'll see you. I'll spend some time with you later. This is problematic. You know why? Because he deserves better. And you're not really getting anything for it. More of what you already have. That's a problem. That's a problem. Workaholism, like alcoholism, is a disease. Failure to honor God by giving money to his work. You notice how I put that? Failure to honor God by giving money to his work. Some people would say tithing, but I didn't say that because there's more to it than just tithing. All right? Because some people believe if they tithe, they don't ever have to give anything else. They don't ever have to support in any other kind of way. How realistic is that? That doesn't even make sense. Because you know and I know that there are going to be other opportunities outside the walls of the church where God-honoring work is going on that you have the ability to effect. Honor God that way. Honor his work, his work that way. And sometimes the people trust you. They're not going to come to the church. They're going to come to you. Can you help me out? And you can help them out. But I say this to you. You can't depend. I believe this. I believe this. Honor God. Support his work. The truth of the matter is, in the Bible, they were instructed to give of their first fruits. The first lamb out of a flock. The first bushel out of a crop. All right? Some people say, and that was the law of the first fruits. That's what you call the law of the first fruits when they were instructed to do that. Now, can I let you in on something? They were instructed to do that because they were more immature spiritually than we are. That's why they had to be given everything jot and tittle. God had to explain to them, when this happens, you give this. All right? That's the law. That's the law. They were under the law. We're not under the law. We're under grace. We're under the law of grace. All right? Not that legalistic system. So God trusts us more because we have the Spirit indwelling us and have the ability to be more spiritually mature than they were. And because of that, one might say that God expects more from us. And I tell you, he does. He's blessed us with much more. But you should know that a tenth was a starting point. The tithe was a starting point. You should be growing past that point. If you're able to tithe, what it means is you have a money management system that works for you. All right? Because your tithe is not optional. It's not. It's what you're required to do. And when you're able to do that consistently and maintain everything else, you have a valid money management system. You shouldn't be taking your rent money and tithing. You shouldn't be taking your power bill money and tithing. You shouldn't be at that point. God never required that of you. What that means is something's out of balance. And I'm going to tell you this. I believe that God, because he's a God of grace, believes in growth. Preachers won't come tell you this. If you're not doing anything, then it seems ginormous for me to come in and say, take 10% of what you got and start giving it to the church. So I challenge you to do this. Put 1% in. Put 1% in with the right motive. Start with 1%. Get 1% straight. Move to 2%. All right? And when you get 2% straight, gift yourself and start giving 3%. All right? Why? What are you saying to yourself? I'm growing. You can look back and say, I was just giving 1% 6 months ago, and now the Lord has blessed me, and I'm able to give 3% now. Guess what? I know he'll honor that. I know he'll bless you if you do that. But he's not going to bless you if he keeps giving you all his favor and you keep giving him nothing in return and wondering why you can't get ahead. He's blessing you, you're just not managing it properly. All right, look at this. Then, this is what the scripture says. Proverbs 3:9 says, honor the Lord by giving him the first part of all your income. The first part of all your income. I love that. Everybody loves that. Everybody loves that. Honor the Lord. But look at what verse 10 says. It doubles down on it and says, then your barns will be full and your wine barrels will overflow with new wine. If you do 9, you get 10. If you honor the Lord with your first, then he'll bless you, is what Solomon is saying. He ought to know. God blessed him like that. All right? That promise is still in effect today. Still happening right now. All right? Because we're more aware of the spiritual blessing that goes on. And don't always hold God to blessing you with money. Because God can give you things more valuable than money. How many of you know that? He might not give you money, but he gave you good children. Yeah, he gave you good children. He might not give you the job that you can start one day and retire from 25 years later, but you always got a job. Yeah, he might not give you the house you want to live in with the white picket fence and all the little shrubs around it, but guess what? You ain't never outside. He'll bless you. He'll give you what you want. Stop making God bless you with what's in your mind and let him do what he's got. Let him give you what he's got to give you. I promise you he'll do all right. He'll make your career better than you ever could have thought it would be. If you give your life over to him, he'll fix it up and give it back to you. And you won't even recognize yourself when you walk in the room because God will have blessed you just like that. Some of us were about to mess ourselves all the way up. If we had just gone with our plan, we would have lived a life smaller than we could have anticipated it. We would have had less than we could have anticipated. But when we fixed it all together and said, Lord, I'm not capable of doing this. Can you take it? Please take it. Well, the songwriter said, fix it, Jesus. He'll give it back to you. The last thing I need to tell you is something that we often fail on, and it is you have got to learn not to be greedy, but instead to be generous to the poor. To the poor, you got to. Stop letting these folk who panhandle jade you about everybody. There's some people who are genuinely in need. They need you to help them. Stop putting them all in one boat. We got to be compassionate. And guess what? Every now and then, somebody going to sneak through, and they're going to get us. Let that be between them and the Lord. I'd rather err on the side of trying to help too many folk than to have to give a report and say we didn't help enough. I'd rather err on that side. There are some people who come through life and they just don't get enough of the stuff it seems to take these days to live. The greatest gift you can help them have is Jesus. If you can make a connection between them and Jesus, then he can supply all the needs for them. But guess what? They don't just need Jesus, they need Jesus' friends too. They need for you to be better with them. Not just a connection to heaven, but a friend down here on earth. We need that as well. And so don't push people just to heaven. Sometimes push them in your house and feed them. Yeah, don't always try to fill them up with a good prayer. Every now and then, give them a bowl of soup. Every now and then, don't send them to the preacher. Sit them down and you counsel them yourself. This is what we have to do. This is learning how to be better with what God has gifted us with. And I know you say, I don't have enough to give anybody. I just always seem to be making it myself. People say that, Ingrid. They say that all the time. They say, I just barely get by. And you know why? Because you stingy. Because you stingy. Yeah, I'm just flat out going to tell you. Because if you got a bowl of anything, you can split it. If you got one biscuit, you can cut it. If you got $1, somebody else can get some out of it. But when you think, he just gave me enough for me, then you have the wrong mindset about how God has blessed you. Anything God has blessed you with, he gave you enough for somebody else to be blessed by it. Anything he gave you. Because he's not a stingy God. Oh, he's not stingy. Anybody here know that he's a gracious God? He's a loving God. He won't just give you what's left over, Calvaretta. He'll give you his best. How do I know he'll give you his best? Because for a while he tried to pacify us with just prophets. Tell them about me. Tell them how good I am. Tell them what I'll give them. Look at how I bless them through the prophets, and the prophets got worn out, and we got tired of them. And you would think he would double down and say, I'm tired of trying to help all of them. But when he looked around heaven, he said, I'm not just going to give them anything. I'm going to give them everything. I got it. He says, son, I believe if you go, they'll know how serious I am about loving them. If you go, they'll know that I'm not just giving any old due to them. I'm giving the best I got in heaven to them. His son said, I'll go. And that's what we got. We got Jesus. So when you start looking around trying to see how you can bless your children, stop giving them the old coat. Buy them a new coat. When you start trying to help your neighbor, stop giving them the gently worn stuff. You wear the gently worn stuff and go get them something new. God will bless you. Oh, he'll bless you. He will. He will. Try being generous. Blow somebody's mind with how good you can be to them. Because didn't he blow our mind? The Bible says when we were without strength, Christ died for us. When we had nothing to bargain with, nothing to barter with, he came down here, stepped down through 42 generations, and he lived with us, and he dined with us. He ate with us. He fellowshiped with us. I love this because he didn't just send us a story about him coming. He came himself. God put flesh on and became Jesus. And Jesus came down here through all these generations and he lived with us. And if that wasn't enough, that would have been enough. Jalen, that would have been enough. We couldn't say anything. We could have said we serve a God who came and lived with us. We could have said that was enough. Nobody else can say my God came and lived with us. But as if that wasn't enough, he died for us. That would have been enough for some folk. But as if that wasn't enough, guess what? He was resurrected for us. He lives with us and for us right now. He's alive. The gift of resurrection is the ultimate giving that God could do. Not only did I give it the first time, you didn't appreciate it and got rid of it, and I gave it back again. That's the ultimate giving. Have you accepted it? If you want to do better in life, then you got to be better down here. You got to be better about how you live, how you treat folk, how you interact with folk. You want to have a better church experience, then you got to be better about being a church member. If you don't have a church family, then today is the day for you to start being better. Today is the day for you to accept the invitation that Jesus gave you when he died for you. For God so loved the world that he gave. That he gave. For God so loved the world that he gave. You ought to know that. He gave. You want to follow his example? Give. For God so loved the world that he gave. It just so happened that the greatest thing he had to give was his son. And that's what he gave. While they stand and sing right now, the doors of our church are wide open. Whosoever will, let him come right now. Help us. Well, there it is. I hope you were blessed by God's word. It's my prayer that you will grow from this message. But in case you need a refresher, you can always stop by our physical location and worship with us at 7600 Division Avenue over in the East Lake community. I believe one visit and you'll find out that we truly are the friendliest church from the parking lot to the pulpit. Looking forward to meeting you. God bless you. Take care.